Welcome back to Timeless Treasures. I'm Veronica, and today I want to show you how to make this quick and easy refillable notepad requiring almost no measuring, and you can make this even if you don't have any fancy craft tools. Take one sheet of medium weight cardstock and about 5 sheets of plain printer paper. Now just cut your card and your paper exactly in half lengthwise. So you'll essentially be making 2 notepads out of this 1 sheet of card and 5 sheets of paper. I'm using a pink shimmer cardstock because I'll be stamping images onto this, but you can substitute this with any scrapbooking paper or digitals that you like. I'm using just 5 sheets of plain printer paper, but you can use more if you want, and you can use any paper if you want lined paper or coffee dyed paper. The choice is yours. Just lay down your paper on your card to make sure there's a thin sliver of the card showing on all the edges around the paper. Now fold your paper in half and position your little notepad approximately in the center from the top to the bottom. And then we're going to fold the top flap, making sure to leave just a tiny gap, approximately a 1/4 inch, between the fold and the top of your notepad. Now do the same for the bottom flap. Now I'm going to round my corners with my corner rounder punch. If you don't have a punch, you can do this with your scissors, or you can just leave them like they are. You'll also need a narrow piece of cardstock for the belly band. It needs to be just a little bit longer than the width of your notepad because we're going to fold the edges over to glue the belly band down. You can see I've already folded my edges. If you're going to be stamping like I did, just make sure to use a piece of scrap paper to protect your cardstock from any smudges. If you've used scrapbook paper, you will obviously skip this step. And if you only have plain white cardstock, no stamps and no digitals and no scrapbooking paper, you can always make this pretty by just applying some pretty gift wrap. Now you can measure or eyeball where your string will be attached. I'm going to punch a hole with an eyelet. If you don't have this eyelet tool, you can just use a brad or a split pin or even a button. For the string, I'm using this thin elastic cord. You can use yarn or whatever you have available. Just measure a piece long enough to go around the top button, which will attach shortly. And just make sure that you leave enough excess to tie it down. I'm sure you know this, but if you're using an eyelet, make sure you put your string through the hole and then put your eyelet. If you're using a brad, you can just put your brad in and then tie your string around it. But let me go ahead and put in my eyelet. So first put your string through the hole, then your eyelet, and then set your eyelet. And snap off the excess string. I like to give my string a knot just to give it a nice finished look. Now it's time to decide on a button for the top. But you can also just use a brad or a split pin for this. I want to use this cute wooden heart as my top button, but this is not a button, so I'm just going to poke some holes through it to make a button. Now it's a button. Here I'm just checking to see if the needle will actually go through the holes. To get the correct placement, you need to pull your string up, place your button down, and very lightly make a mark with your needle in the cardstock. Make sure not to push the needle through the cardstock. You just need a mark. Once you have your marks, you can go ahead and poke 2 holes through the card. I'll be using thin crochet yarn matching the color of my cardstock to sew on this button. Now sew on your button by starting from the front, going back, coming back to the front, just through the card, and then going in from the back of the button to the front, and then again from the front to the back, and then again through the card to the back, and again from the back to the front through the card, and then just tie a double knot around your button and snap off the excess threads. Before we glue down the belly band, we need to secure the notepad. I used a long ridge stapler, but you can sew your notepad together with a needle and thread, anything that you have available that works for you. Just make sure that your staples or your sewing is exactly on the fold. Now find the center of your paper pad and slip in the belly band, folding the overlapping edges around to the back of the paper pad. Now apply some strong hold glue to the two flaps that you folded to the back. Now carefully position your paper pad about a 1/4 inch from the top fold and glue down your belly band. You can remove the paper pad to make sure your belly band is straight and then press to ensure it's properly glued. Now reinsert your paper pad. To secure your paper pad and keep it from slipping around, you can use a low-tack double-sided adhesive or even just a dab from your glue stick. So just pull your paper pad up slightly, apply your double-sided tape or glue, slide it back in and press in place. Here you can see how easy it is to remove the paper pad. Now you can close your notepad, marvel at your creation, and go ahead and make another one. These refillable notepads are great to put in journals or just to give as a small gift. I wanted my button to stand out more, so I just added some ink from the same ink that I used for the stamping just to give it a darker color. And there you have your beautiful, quick and easy refillable notepad.